Now we chose to be smiley. So, yes, let me quickly comment because we had talked about this in one of the Sunday morning class and then very briefly on the Saturday class with this group. So quickly, remember we had given a story to understand example of 5 kind of souls that comes down: the atheist, the believers, the believer of the book and prophet, the Muslims, and then smileys. So the difference between the first, second, third, and fourth group and the smileys, when Allah sends us down compared to all of the others, non-smileys, Allah has given them one way out, which we don't have, and you will see why we emphasize that we wanted to come on smiley. What made us that we wanted to come to smiley? Okay. Other force has one way out, and the condition was insan bankar rehna, be a good human. That was the condition. Because they don't have what we have, right? So Allah gave them one single condition: be a good human. But when hamari bari aayi na, when Allah was talking to us, apna Gujarati ma ke che dod dayo. If you guys understand Gujarati, ke dod dayo che, meaning we thought we were very smart, and we say, oh, I wanted to be smiley. All right. So now listen to it carefully, because it's kind of funny, but it is true. When we ask Mullah say, you ready to go? And we say, yes, Mullah, we are ready to go. How will we come back to you? Do we have that one condition, be good, be human? Mullah say, no. I'm going to give you birth in a Satpan Deen. I'm going to give you the parents who are good. I'm going to give you the Farman. I'm going to give you the Peers and the Ginan. I'm going to give you the Quran and Quran's Talim. I'm going to give you the guidance and the current Imam. I'm going to give you everything. You will be accountable for everything you would do. You will be accountable for til na lekha lese sahib ji, because we will have no excuse. There is a Ginan, til na lekha, Imam Akar Sultan Muhammad Farman, what excuse you would have, and the promise that I'm going to give you every resource available to a human, every resource. You will be responsible for all of your action. Now remember I said there is a funny part to it? Here comes the funny part. You know what else Imam said to us? Not only you will be responsible for your own soul, you will be responsible for all of the souls in the other 4 ranks. You should pray for them, you should ask for their nijat, you should do dua for them, and you do anything in your power to bring all of the humans and do the sifarish. Who have done that? Peer Sadruddin have done that. We have the example, and we have the same responsibility to take our brother and sister, take our friends, even our other Muslim brothers, even our other co-workers, regardless of religion. Because we have such a blessing that we were born and we accepted that condition. That not only we will do good, but we will try our best to bring all of these souls. Remember, Nafsan Vaida, one single soul. We will bring everybody together. And we have the example of Peer Sadruddin. Did he only take a smiley with him? No, right? He took all of the souls with him. He fulfilled his promise. And Mullah says, you can become like Peer Sadruddin and you can do the same. I think this completes your answer. Up to what point? Up to what point? Number 5. Remember, number 5 is for open for everybody with the mercy of Allah. And from number 5, there are 2 paths. They will receive the knowledge, they will receive the recognition and push to number 4, or you can recommend them. Remember, I said 2, 2, 2. You can recommend them. And this is again all absolutely just my understanding of our tariqah and Imam's Farman. Why are we waiting for we die and then we will recommend them? Why don't we follow the Imam Pir Sadruddin Farman and path? How come we are not asking for their salvation today? If you want, your sifarish. Ameen, Ameen, Ameen. Ameen. जी या अली मदद शुक्र मौला शुक्र मौला Okay, so what she said and what my answer was. She said, but Ginan talks about all these jokes. So are we talking about Fera, the rebirth? And my answer was ha 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 in English. So आप समझ गए? Please, let's become Ismaili and follow Ismaili tariqa. Please use the language that we understood. And wherever Peer talks about numbers, so there is one talim that we must understand, which I did not cover before. So I will cover in your question, with your permission. Wherever Peer use the number, or Imam use the number, or the Allah use the number, and I'll give you some example. 1,24,000 फेरे, 1,24,000 पैगंबर, 1 करोड़ रूह को तारना. All this number are called figurative speech. What is figurative speech? To understand something, you use a number. And I'll give you a beautiful example from Gujarati language. And I think everyone on this line little bit understand Gujarati. अपनी माँ कहती थी 100 दफा तने कीधु तू केम नहीं समझतो. I have told you 100 times, why don't you understand? Did my mom or your mom count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up to 100? No. When she would say, I told you 100 times, meaning she was emphasizing that I have told you many, many times. So our peer used the same figurative speech by saying that you will have to go through 50,000 steps, a long journey, so why don't you understand? That's what Peer was saying. And that is what Quran is saying, the 50,000 steps. Allah is not counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 50,000. He is giving us a number which we can understand. Ji. Walali Madad? Yes. Good question. Very good question. Very good question. Very, very good question. Okay. Remember when we are using the example of AZIZ, we are taking everything physically and literally. And what was it teaching? The principle that our tariqah is batin. So within ourselves today, within ourselves, Mullah Ali and Prophet Muhammad are asking today. Not literally, not physically, by default is asking, what is your wish, what is your will? And agar hamara concept, thoughts, our will, and we have already pre-decided that I'm doing bad, I'm going to come as a monkey, then so be it. If that's what you want, Imam will grant you that. Don't ask for that. Don't have ill concept. क्योंकि खराब कॉन्सेप्ट आपको खराब रास्ते पर ले जाएंगे. अच्छे ख्यालात हमको अच्छे रास्ते पर ले जाएंगे. The good thoughts will take us up and the bad thoughts will take us down. ये समझाना था इधर. That was the example. जी, you're welcome. Yes, that is absolutely correct. So everybody understood that she asked a question that Mullah blessed us with the dua ashish and gave us the title of Dai. He's telling us to make your journey shorter. Remember the clock and the arrow above the number 3? And I said the key phrase, those are for the Dais, Hujjatan and Peers. Yes, absolutely. Ji. So his question is that in one of the Imam Aka Sultan Muhammad Shah, may our soul be sacrificed to the Imam, have said that when you see each other, you see their physical body, ear, nose and mouth. But you should strive to see their soul. And his question is, how can we see soul of other mu'mineen? So before we go to this farman, we should remember the another farman of Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, in which he says, you should try and see your own soul at least once in your lifetime. Alright, so now let's put those two farman together. Your question and the farman that you refer to, Mawla is saying that you should see everyone as a one single soul. Don't see them as a white, black, short, Ismaili, non-Ismaili, Muslim, non-Muslim. Don't see them like that. Don't see them as a man and woman, but see them as one single soul. That is your reference to the Farman. The other reference to the Farman, where Imam says that you should pull your soul at least once in your lifetime and try to see it. There Imam is saying that if you recognize your soul, you will recognize the soul of the Imam, and in return you will recognize Allah. Ji. Thank you for asking. Ya Limadad. Yes, okay. So your first question was about the book, The Study of Mombasa, and that is a great booklet to have. And you already answered, those who seek the true knowledge of Imam, they will find that as you found it, as I have a copy sitting on my desk. Right? Because if you are a lover of the true knowledge, you will not stop at anything but to find the true knowledge. And now everyone on this line know that anybody wants it, we have a soft copy and you are welcome to it. Anybody wants to read it. It is a huge book and it will require some reading, but it's the Imam's knowledge, and if you're interested, ask for it and we shall support. Your second question, that you are absolutely right. We were talking about those souls who are of the higher soul. Sometimes we call it 313 Mu'mineen, we call it the souls of the Dais and Hujjatan, and my favorite word I use, Arif Kamil Mukammal. Those who are truly elevated souls, they can see this journey and they can get to the end very quickly. And I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, but if you can read between the line, then at every junction, Imam mentions that you will have the understanding, the happiness that you will not be able to share with others, because those, and this is the underlined word, okay? Those who have not taken this journey will not be able to understand. So Mullah says what? Don't share. Your last question about those who have done really, really bad in this lifetime. As a human, they have killed people, they have murdered people, and they have really bring atrocity on the humanity. They do not go to number 5. The reason I did not want to cover that in today's session, but I'm covering in this question in a short, because then we have to talk about those people which we have no reason to be talking about them. We have no reason to be talking about them. But you are absolutely right. They do not travel to number 5. There is a place under the number 6 line. And that's all I'm going to say for now. Thank you. Great questions. Let me repeat this question again because I forgot to turn on the thing. I don't know if everybody heard me. So question is, ones who are gone from number 6 to 5 and 4 and even to 3, can they lose their ranks and come down? And the second part of the question was when do they lose their free will? So first answer, remember there were two kinds of humans. One who were pushed and died and went from 6 to 5. They are not coming back. Those who are living with their free will, with their good deeds, they have gone from 6 to 5, 4, or even 3. And because they still have their free will, they can lose their rank if they start to lose their good deeds, or for whatever reason they get involved with the things which is against the Imam. And we have a many example of them. But let's use one single example that we all understand. And that is of Iblis. Remember, Iblis was from the higher rank. And he lost his rank due to pride and due to not recognizing the Imam and his Nur in Adam. So I believe this is a short answer, but this is a complete answer. So did everybody hear what I just said? No. Okay, so give me 1 second. Let me put my phone on charge. I think that's the issue. It's not charging on. Second part of the question was that when do we lose our free will as a living person to move up on the soul? When you become Fanafi Imam at the number 1. At the number 1, you lose your free will. From there, you are there and there is no losing of the rank. Any other level between 6 and 1, you have your free will and something could happen and you could lose your rank. So as those mu'mineen, they have to be very careful in what they are doing and saying. That reminds me, and that's the end of the question, that I had asked my sister Zinat and Faiza to have this disclaimer on this site. Please, my request, humble request is, do not call me ALWAAZ. I'm not ALWAAZ, nor can I say I am a scholar. I'm just a poor slave and murid Imam Zaman. And second thing, and I just saw that in somebody's message here, please never say, please don't say your ilm, my ilm. This is not my ilm. This ilm is belong to Arif Kamil wa Mukammal, Imam Zaman, and I am just no one, poor, nothing under the feet of the Mominan like yourself. So please don't relate this knowledge to me. All praises are due to Imam. And if you wanted to say something nice, let's say Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, praises are due to Imam. It's not me. Please don't say that because it doesn't do me any good. It only harms me in a great way. Second question, Faiza and Zinat, that I have received, and I think that's also a good question, and that was, you were explaining the top level and under the line level related to number 3. And you mentioned, if I understood correctly, the top of number 3 line are Hujjat, Dais and Peers. And in Diamond Jubilee, Imam-e-Zaman has graced us with the title Dai. Does that mean we are blessed with being above line number 3? No, it doesn't mean that. Because there are 2 kind of Dais. उसको कहते हैं the potential dai and actual dai. The potential dai are also called duaya dai. With Imam's prayers and his khanavadan and his wish and will, he has given us the title of dai. But we need to make ourselves qualified to be a dai. And what is the qualification of a dai? To have the ilm as our dai had the ilm in their respected time. How much ilm did they have? They had such a knowledge that they could teach other Ismailis, they could convert non-Ismaili to Ismailis, they can convert Hindus to Musliman and Ismailis. Meaning they had the highest level of knowledge. And so in this dua, Imam is saying, become a dai. Be like a dai. And if you remember the Farman of Portugal, Imam explains, and in Atlanta, Imam explains, what is dai? What is dai? Read what our dais of the past have done. Imam explained this. And then she asked one more question. When we refer to rebirth, does it mean die before you die or that of the carnal soul? In our tariqah, in Hindu tariqah, reincarnation or rebirth, reincarnation in the Hindu tariqah means you die and then you get rebirth again. Then again you are born, you die and you get rebirth again. That is the reincarnation concept of Hindu tariqah. In the Christian tariqah, rebirth is one who are born again in that tariqah. Meaning today if we learn something and we truly feel that today I am in a true sense an Ismaili, then we can say we have taken a rebirth. एक नया जन्म लिया आज हमने, a new beginning. And in our tariqah, there are many births, meaning the rank by rank, at every level you could say, not that we say that, you could say कि आज मैंने एक नई दुनिया, एक नया जन्म लिया है. Even though you are in same body, it's just the level of understanding. So those were the questions that someone has taken a shortcut and sent to me directly. Maafi for that, sorry. Ji.
No problem. Okay, so we'll go back to the raised hands then. Aman, can you unmute your microphone, please?
Yali Madad Aziz Bhai.
Yali Madad.
So my question was, we're using Ibadah ibadat and the true knowledge and the recognition of the Imam to raise ourselves step by step. But you mentioned that like Shams, Mansur, Sadruddin and Isa, they used an elevator. Is that elevator accessible to us as well?
Absolutely, 100% yes. Because when you said what you just said, having the true understanding of the Imam's knowledge will qualify us to get into the elevator. And then when we do honest ibadat, what is honest ibadat? Not the faraziyah ibadat. What is faraz is karaz. The honest ibadat is extraordinary ibadat. Ilmi ibadat, amli ibadat, Betul Khayal ibadat, and tasbiyat and zikr. When you do that, the elevator starts to go up, And our Arifin has proven that to us throughout the ages. And the best example is example of Pir Nasir Khusro and example of Mansur. So Mansur, he was the Abid and he had taken the elevator. Pir Nasir Khusro was the Arif-e-Kamil and he had taken elevator so fast that in one single didar, in one single day, from a Momin, he became a Hujjat. That is the elevator. Yes, anyone can do it. Ji.
Thank you. Next question is from Azmina. Can you unmute your microphone, please?
Yalimadad Missionary Sahib, thank you so much.
No missionary side, please.
Oh, sorry. Yalimadad scholar, we are really enjoying your talk. I just have a quick question. When Hasimam gives us Zahiri Didar, it's kind of assumed that we are all getting promoted in our soul level. And so I also want to ask you that in these promotions, where do we move with our stages? And it's always unbeknownst to us how we have been promoted. Kind of makes sense to you what I'm trying to ask you? It's like
yes.
I'm ignorant, so I don't even know how I've been promoted,
Ji. So, willingly and unwillingly, and you can find this in Quran, is called Tahan wa Karan. Willingly and unwillingly. So when we go for our Imam comes to us in the hall and we go for Zahiri Didar. And one of the event, I believe every Ismaili probably will know that one time at the time of Imam Hassan Ali Shah Mabab and Ali Shah Mabab, when they had come to India, Hassan Ali Shah was sitting on his chair, Ali Shah Mabab at the level of Pir at that time on the mic, and he asked the Jamaat that my father, your Imam, is asking, is there anyone in this hall right now that is pure of all the sin, who has no sin on their shoulder? None raised their hand, but one old man, very garib, poor, a farmer sitting in a back with not a very good expensive clothes, raised his hand. Everyone started to laugh. कि ये बुढ़ा जो है ना सठिया गया है. This old man has gone senile. And Imam goes like this. Come forward, come near to the stage. Imam Ali Shah calls him to the stage. People are laughing. He says, why do you think that you have committed no sin? And he said, Ya Mullah, I have committed so many sins that I cannot even count. But Imam just said a few minutes ago that whoever sees me is pure of all the sin and his soul, is pure as the day one in my soul, in Nafsan Vaida. Therefore, I am saying, because I am looking at the Imam, I have no sin on my shoulder. Now think about this even and your question. When we go for physical didar, Imam does elevate our soul. And if at that point we decide to do good and raise ourselves to the next level, can you imagine how fast we can move on to the elevator or on that arrows? Very, very fast. Yes.
Ya Ali Madad bhai.
Ya Ali Madad.
I have a question from last week. How do we keep the count of our Islam while we are doing the bandagi?
How do we count? Oh, yes. Okay, I understand your question. Because I mentioned in one of the Sunday class that our Ismi Azam should be so fast that we should recite the Ismi Azam at least 100 times or 120 times if possible. And then we had given the example of a Ginan, Har Dam Mein Do Bol. Okay, and that is her question. Remember, I also said that we should practice our Ismi Azam for 5 minutes during the daytime, and in your privacy, when you're sitting by yourself, you should count 1, 2, 3, 4. If you can get up to 100, you have done a good job. If you can get up to 120, you have done really good job. And you will know once you practice every day, after day, then you will know in your ibadat how fast your Isme Azam is going. And the last point, what did I say about the numbers few minutes ago to other lady? Figurative speech.
Yes, figurative.
Yes. Meaning recite your Isme Azam so fast that shaitan or the thoughts or the whisper cannot penetrate your thoughts and your ibadat. That was the purpose. Practice, practice and practice. Ji.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Mumtaz, can you go ahead and unmute your mic, please?
Ya Ali Madad, Aziz Ba,
Ya Ali
thank
Madad.
you so much for an enlightened session. I really enjoyed this. I have a question actually. Before my turn came, you just answered the other lady's question. So I have two questions now. You talked about the Ginan. I want to know, is the Ginan talks about the different stations. Can you highlight that aspect? And how does one know about these stations, because they've never been there? And what makes each one go to what station? If you have that answer, I would appreciate it.
Thank you. I believe your question is very, very similar to Kayal's question. And there are a couple of ways that we can understand this, okay?
Yeah.
Once you elevate yourself, and if you have very deep and good understanding of the true knowledge, you will know where you are standing. Because remember two references of Quran, the paradise will be brought close to you and you will know the paradise. Because when you get to that station, which is called paradise in the Quran, you will know it. And Imam's Farman says, when you receive that happiness, when you receive that nur, you will have no doubt. But second part of your question is more interesting than the first part. And you said, how and when do we know which station to go to? Our goal should be to go to number 1, at least. If not number 12, at least to number 1. If we cannot do number 1, then our goal should be at least above the number 3, where the didar of the Imam is present and always there. At least that portion. That should be our goal. As we go from 6 to 5 during our lifetime, and what was the condition to go from 6 to 5 and 5 to 4 and 4 to 3? Mutu kabla anta mutu. So your question should be, how do we go through mutu kabla anta mutu?
Right.
Killing our carnal soul. That is a generic term. But myself, I don't like to use that term. I call transform your carnal soul to Ruhe Lavama, the conscious soul, and then transform your conscious soul to Ruhe Mutmaina, the satisfying soul. And satisfying soul is the soul of the Imam. Transformation, step by step. And that's how you will know which step you are. One of the hint, example, when this dunya does not feel sweet to you, कपड़े, बड़े घर, बड़ी गाड़ियाँ, दुनिया का मज़ा, when those become mute to you, you do not enjoy those anymore, then you will know that your carnal soul is dying, because it is carnal soul which tells you, I want this, I want this, I want this. Because all of your wants are gone, it is due to your carnal soul is dying or transforming into conscious soul. G.
Thank you so much. That's much appreciated.
You're welcome.
My second question that you answered that lady that saying so fast, the ibadat. One of the Mullah's visit, when Mullah had asked who has a question, because he normally doesn't ask, but this one time he asked, and this Jamaati member said, Khudawin, I have a question. I have practiced for a long time, but because I wasn't getting anywhere, I gave it up. I forgot my bangi, and I'm here again to retake it. And then Khudawin asked him if he was saying, if he knew the meaning, was he regular at that point, and then about if he knew the meaning of what he was saying, and then Khudawin said that it could be you are saying too fast. Now, if we say too fast, not the way that Mullah taught us or the Waizins taught us, how does that compensate?
Okay, actually the event you are talking about?
Yes.
It was in Mombasa, it was 1972.
Yes.
And it is the other way around. Imam said you are not saying fast enough, and that's why the waswasa, the whisper, the thoughts are penetrating your thoughts.
Okay. Okay. Well, I heard it differently
Yes.
from another Waizin, but thank you for correcting.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that is part of my job to remember all this.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Mullah bless you and your family.
Ameen, Ameen. Thank you.
Thank you. Nevin, can you go ahead with your question, please? Hi, Nevin.
Yes. Yali Madad Aziz Bhai.
Yali Madad.
My question is, and I don't know how to phrase it correctly, but if the Hindus believe in rebirth, is it really happening or is it just a myth?
For them, because they don't have a current guidance, you cannot blame them. Okay?
Yeah.
You cannot blame them. Is it a myth? If we believe that Allah is one and all the religion at one time or the other are the true religion of Allah, then it is not that Allah changed his mind from rebirth to Jannat and Dozak and then he changed his mind to Fanafi Imam.
Yeah,
No.
right.
The religion is one. Sirat al-Mustaqim is one.
Right.
Alright? So whatever they believe, and there's nothing you can do. And I believe I have made a statement in today's class. If someone still wanted to believe in reincarnation, then good luck to you and there's nothing I can do about it.
Exactly.
Right. G.
Thank you. May
Yes.
Allah bless you and your
Ameen,
family.
Ameen, Ameen. Thank you.
Amin. Thanks, Nevin. Rubina, can you go ahead and unmute your microphone, please?
Yali Madad Aziz sir,
Yali Madad.
thank you so much for everything.
I just have a question from today's, session. You know how we said Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. So we came from Allah and we returned to Allah. So, and then at one point you said that we came to this world by our choice, right? So I'm not all this time I'm thinking that our karmas are the reason why we come to the world and whatever suffer or whatever. Now I'm thinking that if we had a choice, why did we decide to come to this world and not stay close to Allah?
Very good question. And actually this is not a new question. I believe few classes back someone had asked this question. Alright, so because this is a beautiful question and I would love to answer that question. Okay. So what was the reason that humans were created? Do we remember? Allah said, I created human beings because I wanted to be recognized. Right? So when Allah decided that to create the humans, His sole purpose was for us to come to this world and recognize the Imam, and Imam in his own Farman, both Jamas, all the way back to Maulana Ali have said that recognize the Imam of the time. And Hadith says those who have not recognized the Imam before they die the death of ignorant. Purpose, sole, one single purpose, the recognition of the Imam. So when we come down with our own free will, and I would like to give example, I don't know the older generation on this line, please forgive me for this example because I don't have any better example. Those who are in their 40s and 50s who have played Pac-Man or some of the games, video games, and you will think, why would Aziz sir wanted to give an example of a game? You get a bunch of life and then you die, and what happened at the end of the game? You restart again. Let's say you succeed in your game, and I'm talking about Pac-Man or one of those games from my time. So if you succeed, what happens then? At the end, you start the game again, right? Because if you succeed, and what do? Take your game and throw it away? No, you don't do that. You want to come back again and again so you can recognize the Imam again and again. So you are challenging yourself. Can I do this? You are challenging yourself, can I do this? And again, whenever we will, and whenever Imams ask, we are ready to raise our hand and say, Ya Mullah, if that is your wish, then that is my will, my wish to go down, and I will try my best to recognize you. And last thing, I am a hidden treasure, Allah says, and I want it to be recognized. So whoever recognizes the Imam in this world, they find their hidden treasure. And what is the hidden treasure? I will not explain too much today because that will take another class. The hidden treasure is, O Bani Adam, O children of the Adam, follow me, I will make you like me. That is the answer to your question.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. You've answered a lot of our questions. Okay, one thing about Isme Azam. I am 78-year-old. So initially we were taught to do swas to swas. Isme Azam. So it was supposed to be slow. So, and I hardly get distracted. So I got into the habit of very slowly saying it. So to go faster, like you say, it's just for not be distracted by other thoughts, right? So I should carry on with what I'm doing or go faster?
Carry on with what you're doing. Remember, you have practiced for years and years, so you have perfected your ibadat. Why would you disturb that, right?
Oh, that's good. Yes,
So,
thank you.
yeah, so when we are talking about the fast Ismi Azam, those who have issues and problem with reciting their Ismi Azam, concentrating on their ibadat, that prescription Imam has given for them.
Okay. Now, another question is about Adam. So I read somewhere that when you ask me about Adam, there's been so many Adams. So if you ask me up to 30,000 times, it is still true. So it means that world was created many times before. Is that what it means?
Not the world was created many times before. There are cycles upon cycles upon cycles of Adams. And every cycle is of a 7,000 average of 7,000 years.
Okay.
All right. So when Imam, yes, so one more thing I want to make it clear. That every time Adam or the new cycle begins, Allah sends one Adam. And then another cycle begins, Allah sends another Adam. And He has sent again 30,000, meaning many Adams before.
Right.
And the example that our Dais and Hujatan and Arifan has given us is of the onion. You take the onion, you start peeling the onion, and you just keep peeling. That is the age of our earth, our world is just on and on, cycle after cycle after cycle after cycle. G.
I must say, I'm very happy. And I have understood my religion much better. And I want to say I am sorry. Last time I almost made you cry.
Oh, no worries, my dear mother, don't worry. I love you. Thank you for saying that.
Actually, I will not go to your things again because it hurt me so much that you were hurt.
Don't worry about Mama. I love you. Don't worry about it.
Thank you. I love you too.
Thank you. Yali Madad.
Thank you, Leila. It was so nice to hear from you again. Okay, Hanif, can you go ahead and unmute your mic?
Oh, Yali Madad again, brother.
Yali Madad.
So, this is in relation to something that was
we need to put a limit on you, brother.
Oh, brother, I inshallah, I'm sure you'll benefit from questions, and I'm benefiting from others because I know you're joking. So this is the question. It was put in the chat, and then also I have a question in relation to the previous speaker who just had a question. And first thing is, previously you had said you don't know how that book had come to you when you were preparing. You know how it came because Mola Bapa gave it to you. He knew you were talking to us today, so he gave you that knowledge to share with us. Okay? So the question I have is regarding the 313 special souls that are always in this world. Please speak to that, and how it relates to your, the clock example that you have given. Are those souls here to help us with those clock examples? Please relate to that. And now, because the previous question scholar asked about Adam, there was a story in one of the Wa'izes where Adam was not forgiven for his sins up until 7,000 years. So I'm thinking that is the first Adam, until he asked for forgiveness of his sins in the name of the Panchtan Pak. And it is also said that these 5 names of Panchtan Pak are on Allah's throne. So if you can please comment on what I have just said.
So I'm going to answer your second question first. That is not true. Whoever has said that, I don't need to know the name. That is not true. Okay. Please read an article that I have circulated through Zinat. It's called Story of Adam, and it will tell you more detail about the Adam and the actions that Adam had taken. So your second question about 313 Mu'mineen.
Yes.
So 313 Mu'mineens are again figurative speech. There are always lot of mu'mineen present to serve and to follow on Imam's footsteps so they can help all of the other soul of the world to go forward. They have two jobs: follow the Imam and take the other soul with them. Two jobs. In the Quran you will find at the time of Shariat they would talk about 8 only 8. In the time of Haqiqat, in the time of Tariqat, Imam had talk about 70. Time of Haqiqat, Imam had talk about 313. And if I would say today that today are 700 or even 7,000, then I would not be too far off. Because today is the time of Qiyamah, because today Imam has opened the treasure box of Ismi Azam, and Imam has so much mercy on us today. Because of this time and age, that he have made many Ismailis, angels. He have made many Ismailis within those 313. He have multiplied them because his rahmat is unlimited. So why only 313? How about 700?
Yeah, okay, shukr, alhamdulillah. Now you said initially in Quran it said 8. Please give me that reference of the ayat. And secondly, we've also been taught in another talk, I won't mention the names, that there are 8, or there were or are 8 angels holding up Allah's throne.
That is exactly what I'm talking about.
Related?
Yes, that is exactly what I'm talking about.
That ayat, you have that, what the 8 is, which 8 it came from? Or if you can give it later if you don't.
No, this is it.
But the number of the ayat, the Quran.
Oh yes, I will send it to you. I will share it with you.
Shukran, Mullah. Thank you again. Shukran.
And I'm sure Kial is already on it and is sharing, or somebody is sharing online right now.
Yeah, Ali Madad, I have one question.
Ji.
So, when we go to do Didar for Maulana Hazri Imam, I have heard from some knowledgeable Ismaili Murid that there are Ruhanis that are with our Imam, and 45 minutes before Hazri Imam enters our Jamaat Khana, all of them are cleaning our particles and making us prepare for being worthy of his Didar. And then when he walks in, if you had that spiritual eye, you would be able to see all of them on their, in the sijda, when Hajj Imam enters the stage and he sits there. Like, I'm just thinking about the visual and it brings me goosebumps. He said that we cannot be in the presence of Maulana Hazar Imam if we have not gone through that stage. Can you shed some light?
It's a wonderful thought, and I cannot deny the wonderful thought, because Imam has taught us to always think more than what it is. And this is one of those things that is a beautiful way of helping people believe and move forward. But if you are saying, is there any truth to that? Then again I would say, why 45? Why not 50? Why not 70? And why do they need to come? And I'm going to give you a logical proof, okay? And why do they need to come before Imam to clean up everything? Can not Imam do that with his batin? So now I'm going to give you a logical proof. And this is actually an event that took place in Pune in old time, maybe in 1960s sometime. That some of the followers of what is that gentleman name? जो बुदाओं का बड़ा होता है ना, क्या नाम है उनका? ये The name slips my mind. They lives in Tibet. What is the guy name? Dalai Lama.
Dalai Lama.
Thank you. So when Dalai Lama was first time was coming down from Tibet and coming to India, their followers said, we need to find a place which is most purest place for our guru. And they start looking for the places, and they found the hole, and they found whatever they found. And they say, where is he going to stay? They say he's going to stay in one of this hotel. They say, but there cannot be a roof on top of where people had walked, because that would make our Dalai Lama impure, because people had walked on the roof. So there cannot be a roof on top of him. So now they were puzzled. How do we find a place where there is no roof, number one, and no one has walked on the roof? So they came to Ismaili, to our tariqah board. And they said, when your imam comes, and we believe he's just like Dalai Lama and he's pure, where do you guys keep him? What pure place do you find to keep your imam? And shukr alhamdulillah, the wisdom of whoever was present at that time. I'm so happy to say this, that he said a beautiful answer. You know what he said? My imam is so pure. Wherever he goes, everything gets pure. That is answer to your question.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, with that, I think we're going to probably end the session now, Aziz Ba. We've got a lot of questions in the chat, but we can always, we'll collect all of those and forward them to you. So perhaps you can address them at a future
session. We'll give it to you before you fly out, so you can use them on the plane to answer them.
Maybe I can pre-record and send it to you all. And my apology for not answering.
We like to have you in person.
Okay. My apology for not answering all the question in timely manner. When you do ask question, I would request, please mention your first name, last name, maybe your phone number, your email address. So if we don't understand the question, or if there is a question that we can just answer online privately, then you will receive your answer quickly in timely manner. But again, my apology for not answering in timely manner. Bahut nawazish. Thank you, everybody.